Everything happens for a reason. Or does it? My name's Eliana Camargo, and I make videos all about well-being, so let's talk about it. This seems to be a universally hated phrase, and to be honest, I didn't realize that was actually a bad phrase to say to people until a couple years ago when I watched a video about it from a therapist that when someone's going through something hard, never tell them that everything happens for a reason. And I was flabbergasted when I watched that video because I'm pretty sure that I've definitely said that to people before, in which case, if I did and you're watching this, I'm sorry. I was saying it from a place of love. I've always really loved the saying that everything happens for a reason. And so apparently the reason why it's so hated is because when someone's going through something really hard, say they're grieving the death of a loved one, and someone tries to cheer them up by saying that everything happens for a reason, it feels like toxic positivity, like they're not allowed to feel sad because God has a plan, because something great is going to come of this. Say they're grieving the death of a loved one or they just lost their job. If you tell them that everything happens for a reason, it can feel like emotional bypassing or toxic positivity, where you're telling them not to feel sad because something great is going to happen because of this. That's not how I view that phrase at all. So I kind of want to talk about how I view the phrase, because I'm curious what all y'all think about this, and we can have a discussion in the comment section whether or not the phrase needs to be canceled or if it's actually a beautiful thing to say to somebody. So for my perspective, I'm someone who struggled with depression and suicidal ideation for the majority of my life. I feel like my default state is to view all of the torment and terrible things that happen on this earth. It can get really easy for me to spiral into a negative thought loop and only focus on how I never asked to be born. I didn't want to be here, so why am I going through whatever terrible thing is happening in my life? The universe hates me, God is out to get me, and that, I'm just being tormented for no reason. It's really, really easy for me to spiral when something bad happens in my life and to want to kill myself. And so when I hold on to the belief that everything happens for a reason and that the universe has a plan, that something good is going to come of this, and to look for the silver lining, it helps end that negative thought loop that everything is bad, this is hell, this is torture, and that God hates me and that I shouldn't have been born at all. It really helps to end that spiraling thought loop and hold on to the belief that maybe there is a reason for this. Maybe the reason why someone lost their job is because there's a better opportunity coming. And it is true that lots of the hardships that I've been through in my life have amounted in a huge lesson that I wouldn't have had otherwise, and that I'm so thankful that I've had. Like my fibromyalgia flaring up worse than it ever had before in 2019, where I couldn't walk and I was stuck in my house for months, taught me a deep, deep valuable lesson about how my worth is not derived from my achievements. And I got to such a deep place and understanding with that, to a level that I think most people still struggle with, trying to detach their worth from their accomplishments and their achievements. And I feel like I've surpassed that and have fully, completely integrated understanding that I don't have to do anything to be worthy. I feel like I have worth or value in this world. And I never would have gotten to this level if I hadn't gone through a physical crisis like I did, or me growing up in poverty. Well, it freaking sucked at the time. Now that I have a middle-class income, it feels like I'm a queen. It feels like I am rich beyond belief and I'm living the high life, when so many people who make more money than I do feel like they're not wealthy enough or don't recognize that they're actually rich, and always focusing on how they need more. But because I came from the bottom of the barrel and was making $8 an hour working at Panera Bread as a cashier, paying for rent and all my groceries and health insurance, living in California where it's not very cheap to be living on $8 an hour. Everything happens for a reason, and I'm truly now so freaking grateful for where I am now, and I don't think I would have this level of gratitude if I hadn't gone through what I did in the past. I haven't lost anyone super close to me before, so I can't fully relate to the pain of death, but the saying also reminds me of Janae Aiko, who lost her brother, and it really fueled her to make more music and to go all in and making music. And now she's a very successful musician. And she talks about how she does believe that that happened for a reason. And this is all to say that believing or telling someone that everything happens for a reason is in no means trying to push aside their pain and their hurt or try to alleviate their pain or get them to stop crying or stop complaining or whatever it is. By no means is that phrase trying, in my perspective, my view of this, is it trying to get someone to suck it up and be happy because everything happens for a reason and something good's gonna come out of this. Not at all. I am the biggest proponent of not emotionally bypassing and feeling 100% of the emotions that come up in your life because it's all necessary. But to me, saying that phrase is kind of a reminder that, you know, good days will come again, that this low point could lead to an even higher point than you've ever been before. And so hang on for a day longer. When you're suffering beyond belief, thinking that the universe is just out to get you and is torturing you, and you're thinking of not existing any longer, to hold on to the belief that this is for the best. And it's okay to hurt, it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel pain, but don't feel an unnecessary amount of pain thinking that this is because God is torturing you. And don't let this pain make you spiral so much that you contemplate ending your life. It's a nice reminder to look for the silver lining and realize that in the future, looking back, it's all going to make sense. And I'll be a pivotal part of becoming the person that you are in the future, who, if you're watching this channel, I'm sure you're going to grow into a person in the future who you are proud of. And to them, it all makes sense why this happened. And the spiritual growth that your higher self wanted to go through, that it was necessary to go through something so traumatic and difficult, or else you wouldn't have gotten to the point that you're in the future. And of course, there's a level of how can you be certain that everything happens for a reason? Some people hate the saying because how do you know everything happens for a reason? That, you know, life has its ups and downs. It could be crappy just to be crappy, and nothing has to come of it. It's just bad things happen, and that's okay. It just happens. And yeah, there's an element of truth to that. We'll never really know, I guess, until we die, the purpose to this all, and if everything happens for a reason, if there is some God or the universe or our higher self dictating the direction our life goes and having a plan and having a purpose for every good and bad thing happening in our life. There's no way to really know that in this lifetime. But choosing to believe that everything does happen for a reason and that there is a divine plan and that the universe does have our back, it makes life easier. And it makes life more enjoyable, more difficult to fall into a cynical point of view where everything sucks and what's the purpose of anything at all, and bad things just happen because bad things happen. That seems like such a low vibrational viewpoint to go about life. And it doesn't seem beneficial in my viewpoint. To me, holding the belief that bad things happen just because they happen, easy to become a bitter, curmudgeonly person if you hold that belief. It makes life a lot less fun and a lot more tormented. So I personally like to hold the belief that everything happens for a reason, because looking back in my life on all kinds of terrible things that have happened, I can now connect the dots of how that incident got me to where I am today and how I wouldn't be where I am today without those incidents. So that's why I like the phrase that everything happens for a reason, and why, if I've ever said it to you, it's from a place of love and trying to ease the spiral that our minds can get into when dealing with difficult things. But I understand why many people become really angry at the phrase and how it's not what they want to hear when they're going through a rough moment. So I'm really curious what you guys think about this phrase. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Is it kind of in a neutral zone? Have you said it to others before and they've gotten angry, or has someone said it to you and you got angry? Let me know if you've ever gotten angry about the phrase before. Now you kind of understand at least one more viewpoint about why it's not emotional bypassing and it's not meant to get you to stop feeling hurt or crying. It's just a reminder to keep living, to keep on going at least one more day. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm sending you all my love.